Hello and welcome to this week's edition of I forget the name of this podcast. Let's start that again. I'm not even going to shut
Real.
this off. I'm going to save that for the gag reel. All right. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Side Splitters. My name is Lyle.
And his name is Lyle. Or I'm Andy.
And our goal tonight is to leave you in stitches. I'm going to just jump right into things here, Andy. I wanted to tell you about something that happened to me the other night. Have you ever had...
Are you coming out?
No. No, I'm not.
Okay, good. Because I was just like, man, I do not need that pressure again this week. Go ahead.
Again? Yeah. All right, so the other night, I was laying in bed, and, you know how sometimes you lay in bed, and you're like, God, why can't I fall asleep? And then you start to, like, doze off a bit, and you're like, finally, sleep is coming. And then it's like, well, wait, before you fall asleep, there's this brilliant idea. And it's like, I have that choice. Do I disrupt my almost sleep to write down this brilliant idea? Or do I chance it and say, I'll remember in the morning? That ever happened to you?
It depends on how lazy I am, but to be honest with you, like, if I'm really having trouble sleeping, I just rub one out and I sleep like a baby.
Yeah, not the question. I asked.
I've had that happen a couple of times. I know that, like, a lot of my inspiration comes from just before I pass out or while I'm in the shower.
Shower thoughts.
And both times is when I'm nude. Maybe I just need to not wear clothes to be more creative in my life.
Do you sleep in the nude?
In the summertime mostly, yeah. Sometimes in the winter, it all depends. Like because I got a heated mattress pad, I will just put on the heated mattress pad instead of turning on the heat for the house, and then just like cocoon myself in my bed.
It all depends. It all depends on how ashamed I am of my shrinkage that evening.
That plays a good portion of it. I mean, I live alone, but I still judge me.
So, my idea the other day, because I did in fact jot it down. I don't know why. Like, I just came up with it. It was an idea for a wonderful prank that I had, and I do enjoy a typical laugh.
Typical.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind laughing at stupid things. I don't mind watching movies that you literally just, shut your brain off in the beginning and just go into it, like Adam Sandler movies or stuff like that.
I was going to say Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I enjoy all kind of different realms of comedy. I enjoy smart comedy. I enjoy just, brain dead, funny, stupid comedy. And I enjoy pranks. What I'm getting at here, my prank. It's kind of stupid, but I can see it working with the right people.
Okay.
So the idea is to post up at a very populated place, specifically like a mall around the holiday season, which is coming up, hinted. Park your car, inside your car, in the trunk of the car, have a live chicken, and then kind of hide somewhere, like preferably in another person's car, so no one would ever suspect that this belongs to you.
Okay.
Because no one's going to be like, oh, this person clearly just decided to take this car and leave the other one here. Everyone's going to go, oh, they're in another car. This can't possibly be theirs. So while you're in your friend's car, you have the remote to your car. This has to be a remote function on your car. The live chicken is in your trunk. As soon as a good group of people walk by your car, your parked car, you pop the trunk. The live chicken jumps out of the trunk. Hilarity ensues.
Oh my god. Okay. So, this prank would definitely be entitled, One Drunk Night in Vegas?
Sure. I don't know. Like I said, it was just one of those, this could be a really good idea, this could be a really bad idea. Coincidentally, this is how I came up with, the Would You Rather between the actor or actress and the character they played. That's how I came up with that, because I was half asleep one night and I was like, oh, this is too good to not jot down. So, they're not all winners, but sometimes they're good.
Yeah, there are times I wish I actually would take the initiative to write it down because more often than not I am lazy and I would just be like, ah, I'll remember it later, and I almost never do.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of how it is with me. I've been writing them down a lot more lately because of the podcast, honestly. Just see, this would be a good talking point, or maybe this could be a game or something like that. Um, so yeah, that's that. But what about you? You ever done anything like prank related, or do you ever have any fun with pranks or anything like that? You ever been Impractical Joker or anything like that?
Not entirely. I think the closest thing I ever did to a prank was I would fuck with people that I worked with when I was, let me see, I was 21. I worked in Stone Harbor, New Jersey at a Wawa there. And, it's a shore town. And during the summertime, you get a lot of foreign kids. And I was friends with a lot of foreign kids. And it was a long ass drive to go home. So I would crash out at their place a lot. Um, and, we would always mess with the people that passed out early, as, you are supposed to do.
Naturally, yeah.
Naturally, you're supposed to do that. And there was one guy I'll never forget, Nick Ratto, wherever you are.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, Nick Ratto.
For real, we're leaving that name in.
Yep.
All right.
um,
You got till Thursday to tell me.
he he passed out, and we decided to draw a bunch of dicks on his face with a Sharpie.
Naturally.
Naturally. Well, when he got up for work the next morning, he didn't look in the mirror.
Naturally.
And nobody told him, so he showed up for work with a bunch of dicks on his face. And he got sent right back home.
Does this guy have like a vendetta for you or something?
No, not at all. It was just I was not one to be a practical joker, so that was probably the closest thing I could think of that could be a practical joke. My girlfriend, however, loves to play practical jokes, and it amused me the amount of effort she would put in, and then subsequently not put in to get something on over on somebody. And you're talking the whole 9 yards. The gluing a quarter to your front step
Oh
to see
God.
who tries to pick it up, um, to putting powder in a fan or a hair dryer. Um, she drew the line at no cellophane on the toilet because that would be gross.
Boring.
I know, right?
What you really gotta
Um,
do, get fun with it, dude. Start getting her back with some of this stuff. Here's an idea. Uh, take her deodorant. Please tell me she uses stick deodorant. You know what? That's more information I need to know. If she does in fact use a solid white deodorant stick, and she listens to this podcast, so now she's gonna always check her deodorant. This is gonna be funny. Kind of cut off the top so that it's just one flat line stick, and then put the top back on. But the top is now going to be cream cheese. I never did this
okay.
to a woman, so I don't know how it would work, but I know with guys it's a lot easier because then you can just kind of like take a hair and put it on there for added effect.
Yeah, true.
I don't know how it would work for women. Never mind. Cancel that.
Well, I know the one that I've always wanted to do was stack clothes in the bathroom on the toilet to look like a person sitting on the toilet.
Huh.
Yeah, you just kind of ball up a bunch of laundry and then actually dress the ball of laundry with a, shirt on the outside, pants on the bottom, hat, uh, to where it just looks like a person sitting there on the toilet, just to give somebody a scare, just like to go into the bathroom. There's already somebody sitting there, like, whoa, what the fuck?
Call me crazy, but seems like your pranks are pretty harmless.
Yeah, I don't really do. I mean, I'm not. It's not like I'm pen pals with Johnny Knoxville or anything like that. Like I don't I don't have any grandiose pranks.
Like I'm sitting there
Um,
thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, because another one I wanted to do was like take a overhead cabinet, like one that you would typically find in a kitchen, like above a stove or something like that, for keep dishes and what have you, and take a Manila folder would work fine. Put that in the cabinet, hold it up there so that the it's kind of blocking all passageways in and out of the cabinet. undo the top shelf so that it is now a ramp instead of a shelf, so that the front of it is down and the back of it is still intact. And then eggs, preferably a whole dozen. Put them in the ramp, on the ramp, being blocked by the manila folder. Shut the cabinet door, remove the manila folder, wait for hilarity.
Cute.
Yours are boring.
Well, the only other one that I really wanted to do with somebody was have somebody call either a relative or a close friend who they wouldn't recognize or know, and either pretend to be a police officer or a hospital worker to say that I've been in a bad accident and it doesn't look good.
So, my buddy actually did that to me before.
Really?
He did it to me with saying that his little brother got ran over. So that, I had no choice but to believe the story because he put on a hell of a show. Like, it was over a phone. Um, back when landlines were very popular and everything, he just called me up and he was just like, he was talking to me or whatever, and he was just like, yeah, I don't know how to talk about this. And I'm like, what's the problem? And he was like, yeah, my little brother, he got ran over. It's not looking good. They're saying if he does survive, he might not be able to move his bottom half anymore. Like, he might be paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of his life. And he's like
Wow.
going into it, like borderline crying. And I'm like, he's not playing. This is 100% serious. And it was at that very moment, as soon as he realized I was in on the entire thing, he started cracking up. And I'm like, you are the biggest dickhead I've ever met
Yeah,
in my
that
life.
is just the worst.
And then he
Uh,
started making fun of me because of how emotional I was getting for his little bitch ass brother. And I'm like, you are the worst.
although I guess the challenge for me would be to try to come up with the most ridiculous thing that could have, like, the most ridiculous tragedy that could have befallen somebody and still be believable, and try to keep a straight face during the whole presentation. Like, I'm sorry, like getting a hold of Afton or somebody and being like, oh, sorry to call you about this, but your husband was mauled by a pig. Like, just
Yeah, but the only difference is she would be sit there and be like, oh, well, it serves him right. I mean, he mauled plenty of them in his time. Fuckers love to take it,
oh,
you know? But I
that's
mean,
a heck of a lot to have.
yeah, it's not too late for that, Mischief Night right around the corner. You ever done anything for Mischief Night?
Oh, haven't done anything for Mischief Night. Not traditionally. I think I've always recovered from what people have done on Mischief Night, but I've never actually done any of the mischiefing myself.
You were the victim of mischiefs?
Yeah, it was when I first became an adult.
Okay.
No, I got my first job, and my first job was working at a gas station in Bridgeton. So you can imagine the hilarity that would ensue for
Oh.
punk kids.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah. So the first time I ever worked on Mischief Night, I was working at the gas station. It was getting close to closing, like around like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and these kids roll up in this freaking beat ass Crown Royal car, or Royal Town car. I don't even know.
Whatever.
Whatever. It was just beat up Lincoln. There you go.
There you go.
Lincoln Town car. Ha.
Yeah, Crown Royal car. Got it. Go.
There you go. Yeah. Crown Royal car. As you can tell, I know a lot about cars. So, they roll up into this thing, and they're all wearing freaking screen masks.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I can already tell this is going to be a fun exchange.
Oh, jeez.
And they sit there, and they just stare at me while I get up to the car, and it kind of throws me off that the one dude's wearing a mask, and I don't even pay attention to the rest of the people in the car. And then as I do notice the rest of them there, they're all just staring at me with a screen mask, like not saying a damn thing. I'm like, yo, what can I get you? And he just stares at me. And he's like, and I'm like, what can I help you guys or what? And just nothing. And I'm like, all right, suit yourself. And I go to walk away, and the guy puts the car in reverse, and they're like following me as I'm backing off. And I'm
Oh,
like,
man.
okay, yeah, you guys need to find something better to do with your lives, because real mature. And
Yeah, real mature guys.
yeah, real mature guys. So I cross over to the other side of the gas station, and I go into the little hovel that we have in there
Right.
to kind of chill out for a bit. And they're just sitting at the gas pump and they're honking the horn, and I'm like, come on, guys, like what the fuck, um, And then when I go out there again, the only thing they do is they flash the brights, they honk the horn, they drive a donut around the shop, and then leave. Like, what the fuck was all that about?
Wow. Immediately as soon as I see people roll up in Birchton with screen masks on, I'm calling the cops. Yeah, there's a burglary in process. There's some masked gentlemen here that seem kind of hostile. And I'm
Yeah,
I'm looking at them dead in their soulless eyes through the mask as they're staring at me in silence. I am looking dead at them, and I am whipping out my phone and just being like, "Yep, the address here is so and so. Please come quickly. I'm pretty sure they're all armed and dangerous." Now who's laughing, you little bastards?
yeah. I was actually surprised because like that place had been robbed multiple times. Like, actually just before I got hired on there too.
Well, then
Um,
clearly the problem was they came there to rob the store. They seen you, and they were just like, "He's not afraid. What do we do now?"
Well, it was bad during my orientation, my quote unquote orientation, where one of the older guys that had worked there for so long made a comment that the dark stain on the concrete that the safe is essentially poured into uh, was somebody's blood that had been shot in their face, and I'm like,
Oh, wonderful.
okay, yeah, no, this is great. I love my first job. This is amazing.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Um,
that's pretty much all I have for Mischief Night. I was never really a big prankster, but I was definitely on the receiving end of a couple things over the years.
yeah, I never really did too much. I mean, there's some things I've done that I'm not gonna go into detail on here. Let's just say I have graffitied school walls before and all that after hours and stuff like that.
Oh, which school?
Yeah, that's not what I'm going into. uh, I
Yeah.
actually I took every school bus has spray paint in them. I think it was not all of them. I shouldn't say all of them, but the majority of them had spray paint, like brown spray paint, because the seats that are like that weird leathery brown color,
Mhm.
they would, if they had to patch them, they would use duct tape, silver duct tape, and then they would spray paint the duct tape so that it would, match the rest of the seat.
I
So
know the secrets.
yeah, yeah. Um, so we would go into the buses, in the bus yard, and some of them were left unlocked, so we would just walk right in, take the spray paints and spray paint the walls, specifically before football games, and just be amazed that we would be the first ones to wake up around the area and go there as quickly as possible, and all the graffiti's already gone, and it's like, damn, they're good. So yeah, that's the extent of what we would do for like mission, like stuff like that. Like we never did anything too crazy. I remember TPing a house before as when I was a younger kid, but it was something that I think my older brother took me on, a mission like kind of thing. Like my older brother, my older sister, and just friends of theirs and everything, and they did mischief night things. And I remember just being there for it, or maybe they told me about it afterwards. I don't remember. Anyway, the good news is
Oh,
Halloween's coming up. If we want to partake in Mischief Night, we can this year.
eggs. We get a bunch of eggs.
just go into people's houses and put them in their cabinets.
No, I say we paint them and hide them around their houses.
Ah, even better. Oh. So, with Halloween coming up, last week we talked about how we were going to mention something about Halloween costumes this week. Um, so what do you got? What do you got for me as far as Halloween costumes? Like, have you ever? What are some of the funniest ones, or some of the best ones that you've seen, or maybe some of the best ones that you've worn? What do you got for me?
Um, well, I saw one chick dressed as a Bill Cosby rape victim. I
Like
thought that was hilarious.
this year?
No, no, not this year. It was a couple years back, I think, when that scandal first broke out.
I see.
But it's, she was like the way she had it set up was she was wearing like a slinky dress and then had a scarecrow like dummy attached to the back of her with the arms around her midsection and a picture of Bill Cosby's face, like,
Of course.
cut out and taped onto the dummy head.
I would love to go as. So I seen this picture on the internet one day. I think it was like someone's avatar for a video game I was playing. Like it may have been Counter Strike way back in the yeah, in my times playing Counter Strike, CS:GO. Not that you would know that because you're a, peasant console guy. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, thanks.
you're welcome. So he had an avatar of Zordon from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the 90s,
Nice.
the first series. But instead of it being Zordon, it was like photoshopped, so it was Bill Cosby's head inside the big tube. And I was like, I would love to be that somehow for Halloween. Just Cosby Zordon. um,
I always had aspirations for costumes that far exceeded my motivation levels.
isn't that the worst?
Yeah, it really is.
Like, I had a good one, real quick, because there's one I want to mention. So me, my wife, and a couple of our friends, other couples and everything that we're friends with, we like to go as a group of something, The one year we went as the X-Men. I've explained that before. Another
Yep.
year we went as pirates. The one year that I had a great idea and no one seemed to like it except me. And I was just like, guys, this is gold. And they're all just like, that's really fucked up though. And I'm like, no. You don't understand. This is really good though. It was the year Robin Williams had passed. And I suggested that we all went as characters that he has played over the years, zombified. So like
Oh, jeez.
an undead genie, like an undead flubber scientist guy, undead Mrs. Doubtfire. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, this is amazing. We have to do this.
Wow.
And they just were not having it.
Man, that's a scary thought, though, an undead genie.
Undead genie, as I think undead Mrs. Doubtfire is kind of scary too.
That would be pretty scary. It's like kind of like a transvestite.
Not your best, but it was cute.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like, God, a transgender zombie. What would that be like? A transvestite. Um, yeah, I've only ever done the group thing once, and I think it was legitimately how it must have been in the comics. So I went with a group, and we did I forget what year it was, but it was a specific incarnation of the Justice League. And we're talking like it only had like one or two A-listers, and the rest of them were like D-listers.
Oh God.
So you got like Batman, Batman, Superman. That's all fine, and then you had the loser bracket, which had like Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Vigilante, like those characters.
Can I take a stab in the dark and say that you were Blue Beetle?
Oh, of course I was Blue Beetle. I was a damn good Blue Beetle. Thank you very much.
Continue.
And it was funny because like no matter like where we went, everybody would be like, oh hey Batman, and Batman's friends. That must have been how Blue Beetle and Booster Gold felt in the actual comics when they were going around with the Justice League. It'd be like, oh yeah, great, nobody knows us, but we're Batman's friends.
you have any pictures?
Um, I have some, but not many. I still have the costume.
Is it the one that you tend to wear, like modified?
Yeah, yeah, because I still have like the original shirt and the headpiece and everything like that, but like I don't have the pants anymore. Um,
I see.
and trying to find pants that matches both color and texture is like really hard.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that for the first time and going, "Are you supposed to be the Tick?"
I get a lot of that too, actually. Be like, oh, you're the Tick. Like, no, no, Tick is definitely much bigger and mono blue. And I go off on this like tangent, but I'm not gonna get into that here. Um,
Yeah, appreciate that.
yeah, I've definitely been around people that had way better costumes than me over the years. That's my lot in life, unfortunately. But like, yeah, I would have all these grandiose designs of like, oh, I know, I'm gonna be like, I wanted to be, oh, what was his name? Zorak, the mantis from the Brack show.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking about how I would do it too, like like the PVC mantis pipe arms, and you know, uh, just like do shit like that, and I would think like, yeah, this could totally work if I had any motivation above, wait till last minute and then go with something I already had.
hmm Yep. I have a pirate costume sitting in the trunk of my car. If for some reason someone decides to go, "Hey, you want to come to a Halloween party?" Because as of right now, I have no Halloween plans, and I don't know why, but I'm content with it for some reason this year. Halloween
Yeah,
Halloween for me is always the time of the year where I can get drunk as another person, and it's awesome usually. But for some reason, I'm just not feeling it this year.
yeah. Well, unfortunately for me, because of all the craziness that's been happening around, I have to leave the clown costume in the closet.
Damn those people.
Damn those people, ruining it for everybody else. I was a legitimate, hard-working killer clown before killer clowns were like a terror.
Yeah. How about
Bastards.
how about how about trick or treating and stuff? Have you? What are some of your favorite candy that you got for Halloween? Like, what are some of the? Oh my God, I love these. I will trade all of my friends for these. And then what are the? I don't even want to attempt to ask people if they want these out of my bag. I'm just going to throw them away and forget they ever existed.
Oh man, okay, so anything taffy related, that includes Tootsie Rolls. I was not a fan of those at all.
Okay.
Um, what I the premier hierarchy and currency for me for Halloween candy was always anything Reese's, like Reese's peanut butter cups, Reese's Pieces, anything like that. Those were high up, as well as Starburst and Skittles, peanut M&Ms, Snickers bars, Butterfinger bars, and yeah, that was about it. That was those were my main currencies. Everything else was expendable, but like I would hate getting toffee or taffy. I would hate getting Werthers because there was always those freaking ancient people on the street that decided to, instead of buy brand new Halloween candy that children would enjoy, they would just use the regular Werther's candy they had around for when they had the need to have something sugarless and bland. Um, that way it's like, oh dear, is it Halloween already? Oh, I better get out the way. There's no love sucking on that. Like, oh, you suck on this, Granny. Um,
Uh, how about the people that like make their own things and try to pawn them off to you as I swear this is safe.
no, I've never had that. Although I had, apples. I've gotten that before.
Sure, sure. Never like candy apples or caramel apples?
No, no, just like
Really?
legitimate regular apples. Um, oh, I remember. One of the things I would always be excited about if I ever got it were like the candy cigarettes.
Ah, yeah. Who wasn't?
Oh man, like that was so awesome. Whenever I got any of those as Halloween candy, it was like yes.
I should go looking for them this year and then just like really fuck with people. Be like, just pull one out and just start like acting like I'm smoking it. And everyone's just like, I thought you quit. I did. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's just delicious. What do you want from me?
Or even better, as soon as they look at me, I thought you quit. Just shut the whole thing in my mouth. I did. Of course I did. You didn't see nothing. Like try to play it off like I never did it. Did you just swallow a lit cigarette? Yep. Nope. Wasn't
No,
smoking
nope.
anything. Uh,
Tell your friends, but don't tell them anything.
um, for me and you would have got along well trick or treating together because I loved taffy.
Wow.
I really enjoyed taffy. I didn't like Skittles. Still not a fan of Skittles.
Oh,
I do like Starburst. I like Reese's, but I didn't mind trading them away if it was for something better. And a lot of times,
better. Blasphemy.
hear me out. A lot of times, people were willing to trade me several of their quote shitty candy for one of my quote golden candy. Reese's was considered one of that golden candy. Everyone likes Reese's peanut butter cuts.
Oh yeah.
Um, nobody likes peanut butter cuts. Let me just throw that out there. They do like the cups. They don't like the cuts. That's what you got inside the candy apples. Anyway,
Man, yeah. Touche.
so you had your Reese's peanut butter cups. I really enjoyed peanut chews. Um, Mary Jane's, loved them. Don't know why. Almond Joys,
Mary Jane's.
loved them. Don't know. Yeah, you never had Mary Jane's?
I've had Mary J, but I don't think I've ever had a Mary Jane.
Mary Jane, isn't that the peanut butter like caramel taffy candy?
If it is, I never knew what they were called. I just probably recognized the wrapper and went, ew, and threw it at some homeless kid.
Yeah, it's Mary Jane. Yeah, absolutely Mary Jane. What the hell's a Mary J?
Marijuana.
I think you're the one confusing Mary Jane with Mary J. Because Mary Jane shows up, Mary J does not.
I mean, I'm more on a personal level with Mary. Like, I don't need to say her last name.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, like it was old people candy. Good and Plenty's, loved Good and Plenty's. Oh, you know what they are?
I know what they are, and that explains a lot, because if you are what you eat, then you, sir, are good and plenty.
Yeah, dude, something like black licorice, I was a huge fan of. So, needless to say,
Oh,
people just,
God.
yep.
No, black licorice tasted like a, I don't even know, like a stomach acid scented candle. Like,
Nah,
I did not want anything to do with black licorice.
I love black licorice like that. It was,
Ugh.
especially the pipes. Like there used to be these, like everyone else had candy cigarettes. I was more sophisticated and had black licorice pipes, like corncob pipes
Wow.
that were just made out of black licorice. And I used to think I was cool and like bite the top of the actual the pipe part where the ember would be if you were actually smoking a pipe, so that when you bite black licorice, you get all that brown inside, and it's like very staticky looking. So it actually looks like the embers of tobacco inside of a pipe. I was like, yes, just kind of.
Oh, hold on. That reminds me of something. What about that one candy that was like, it was the juice bottles, but they were like wax juice bottles?
They were gross.
I kind of had an appreciation for them.
You would.
Although I never understood why some people would give out wax lips for Halloween, because you couldn't eat them.
Oh, they were disgusting. You couldn't?
I mean, I assumed you couldn't eat them because they were just gross.
I mean, I tried.
Did you?
I did. I actually, ate them. And every year I would tell myself, no, they're not that bad. And I would go to eat them, like, what am I doing with my life?
I just thought they were like decoration, or like, I don't know. Like, I thought they were just like a goofball thing. Like, I didn't think they were edible at all. I just thought it was like, oh great, they're giving out toys on Halloween? No, bitch, I want candy.
Yeah, the worst was when they gave out pencils.
Yeah. Although, one house was giving out quarters. I remember that.
I've heard tales of this mysterious family that would give out money for Halloween. They always lived somewhere different because it was always a different friend telling me this, but I'm like, what neighborhood did you assholes grow up in Because for me, it was the ghettoest part of the trailer park, and one nobody giving away money for Halloween.
Did you ever have those people on the block or something that like got really into Halloween, like their house would be all decked out and everything?
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's funny because as a kid, I was just kind of like, especially the scarier ones. I was just like, yep, not going near that. And then as I got older, of course, I got braver and was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go there. I bet you that's where all the good candy is. But then you come across the adult or not adult, but teenage years where now I am going with uh, younger cousins and family members and what have you, nieces that I had at the time, and you come across those again very big decorated houses, and it's just like, what kind of asshole has that much time on their hands? And then now as an adult, I'm looking at them, I'm like, good for them. Those guys are cool as shit. Like I hope I can be like that one day.
Yeah, I would really like to put up a nice display for Halloween one year,
Yeah,
but like,
absolutely.
and I remember one time being a kid and like, okay, so there was this one house that had, it was a long ass driveway and their house was like literally every inch of the lawn was covered in Halloween decoration at some point. There were corpses on the trees. There was spider webs everywhere, headstones, the whole nine. And the people that were that like owned the place were all decked out in Halloween costumes, head to toe. And there was like a nice little like pseudo haunted house thing that you had to go through the driveway before you got to the house to get the candy.
Those are always the coolest. Like I love those things. Go ahead.
Yeah, again, all about the presentation,
Yeah.
and it was so awesome. And then when I got to the candy bowl and I could have one Smartie before they sent me on my way, I'm like, really? Like, I go through all of this crap, and granted, the pageantry was great, the effects were very well done, and I was a little kid, so like all of it was like big and scary and intimidating. And then when I get to the candy bowl, she hands me one Smartie and says that Happy Halloween and sends me on my way. I'm like, that is a jip.
Well, they just spent all their money on decorations. They didn't
I
have
know.
they didn't have the funds to cover the Snickers and the Reese's.
I'm like, bitch, I almost pissed myself. Give me a king size Butterfinger.
Butterfingers were one thing I used to trade away a lot. Love the taste of them. Couldn't stand the texture of them. Like how they would get stuck in your teeth and all that. Like, I hated that.
Oh, that was like a game for me, man. I would eat a Butterfinger and then keep eating the Butterfinger.
That's always been a thing that I've never been a fan of. Like I was never. I don't like popcorn to this day. I don't like popcorn. I don't like the taste of it anymore. The smell of it. The fact that you have to pick it out of your teeth for hours. Like I just don't like anything about it.
What about the candy version?
So like caramel corn, I tried to make an exception for, but then that first thought of it's stuck in my teeth. I can't get it out. I'm done. I don't like that. I don't like that feeling of something being stuck in my teeth.
So then what about candy corn?
Candy corn is so I like the flavored version of candy corn.
There's a flavored version?
Yeah, like they have like a caramel apple candy corn and like
Never heard of this.
oh dude, they're amazing. They have like some sort of chocolate candy corn thing. Oh, they're really good. And like the regular candy corn to me is just way too sweet. Like I can't eat it. Like I'll eat like one or two, and then I'm like, okay, that was good. I better stop now because if I eat another one, I just ate another one and I made myself sick. For some reason, I ate a fourth one thinking that it would help my sickness. It made it worse. And why am I eating a fifth one? Like that's how candy corn is for me.
For me, it was always gross, and I always psych myself up every year. I'm like, oh, I'm sure they're not that bad. Like, I'm probably remembering
Yeah,
it wrong.
yeah.
Like, no, I'm not remembering it wrong. This shit tastes terrible. Like, something was growing on the end of my sock, and I decided to try it one day. Like, it is just gross, and I don't know why it's still a thing. Like, ugh. I'm
Some,
pretty sure all the candy corn that's in circulation now has been the candy corn in circulation since the 1930s.
that's how I feel about circus peanuts.
Yeah, good call.
Uh, something growing on the end of your foot, man. That kind of sounds like athlete's foot. Speaking of athletes,
Wow.
Oh yeah, you give me that. That's right. So
Master of segues.
last week, we had Eric from Countdown to Geek Town go up against the magnificent Andy, uh,
Magnificent.
and in these, what we're talking about, of course, is week 6 of the NFL season. Andy here picks teams to win, even though he has no concept of the sport whatsoever and what is going on in the current league. So Eric from Countdown to Geek Town, he is a seasoned football fan. Comes on, well, he told me, hey, look, I'd like to give you a list for Andy. He actually told me on the Discord channel that we had started for Side Splitters, Countdown to Geek Town, the Nerdy Harry YouTube channel. Any fans of those things can all come over and hang out in the Discord channel, chat. You can talk with us. You can just type messages in that you can leave for us, or whatever. Or you can even say things like, "Hey, I want to be on next week's football pool thing." Let me know. Um, if you want to be on that, message us on Facebook, and we'll get you in on there. So, but anyway, so he came on Discord and told me that he wanted to be on here this week. So I got his list, and then I was like, all right, I need an expert for Andy to go against. And last week, if I'm remembering correctly, when we went to record, the experts hadn't posted their list yet.
You are right.
So we looked for another source and came across a hive mind of all the fans from NFL.com.
That's a scary thought.
Isn't it? So legitimately, this is what the majority ruled as the winners. This is better than any expert pick, in my opinion. Um, let's go over what they were, and let's see if they were in fact better or not.
I'm curious.
Aren't we all? So, okay, right from the top. Game 1, Broncos versus Chargers. All three of you guys, now you guys meaning Eric, Andy, and the fans, the omniverse that is the NFL fans. You all picked the Broncos, and all three of you got a loss on the first game because the Chargers actually won.
Blows my mind.
I'm sure it does. Next up, we had the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins. Eric and the fans picked the Eagles. Andy decided to go with the underdog that is the Redskins. The Redskins, in fact, won the game. Next up, Steelers and Dolphins. Eric and the NFL fans picked the Steelers. Andy decided to go with the underdog, Dolphins. The Dolphins, in fact, won the game. Next up, we have the Bears and the Jaguars. Eric went with the Bears. Andy and the Hive Mind went with the Jaguars. The Jaguars, in fact, won the game. Next up, we have the Browns and the Titans. All three of them went with the Titans. All three of them won because the Titans, in fact, won the game. Next up, we have the Patriots and the Bengals. Sorry, no one picked the Bengals. That's why I couldn't figure it out at first. So everyone picked the Patriots. Patriots won. Everyone won. Next up, we have the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills. So Eric didn't give me a team for this, so I defaulted him to the 49ers because Andy picked the Bills, as well as the NFL.com fans. The Bills won, so another win for Andy.
Okay.
Next up, we have the Giants and the Ravens. All three of you picked the Giants. Giants won. Next up was the Lions and the Rams. All three of you picked the Lions. Lions won. And finally, we come to the Saints and the Panthers. And what I like to call Andy's first loss. Because Eric and the fans picked the Saints, Andy picked the Panthers, and the Saints won. Then, right back on track, Raiders and Chiefs. Eric and fans picked Raiders, Andy picked Chiefs, Chiefs won. Oh my god. Packers and Cowboys, all three of you picked the Packers, and the Packers lost. So, all three of you had a loss there.
Oh.
Seahawks and Falcons, this one messed me up too. Andy picked the Falcons, the other two picked the Seahawks. Falcons lost. Andy got another loss. Texans and Colts, all three of you picked the Texans. Texans won. Cardinals and Jets, Andy picked the Jets, the other two picked the Cardinals, and the Cardinals won. Now, if you're counting, Eric from Countdown to Geek Town, I looked at their numbers and what their record was. I haven't listened to their latest episode yet. However, I looked at what Eric said his record was from last week, and he said he was 9-6, which means he probably picked the Bills, not the 49ers. So he's 8-7 here because I gave him the 49ers. But if he picked the Bills, that means he's 9-6. I'm going to go with his 9-6 record, and he still doesn't beat Andy, who is 10-5, and has tied with the hive mind of all of the fans of NFL.com.
Wow.
That is saying something, dude.
Huh. I will continue to not know a damn thing about this game other than I will call them as I see them, and some of the losses don't make sense to me, but whatever, the game is the game.
Does any of this make sense to you?
Some, but probably not the same sense that it makes to you.
I'm going to go ahead and say definitely not the same sense that it makes to you. Okay, so we're going to pick an expert for you, because we're going to do the expert one again.
Ooh. Huh.
See him?
Yeah, okay.
All right, I have the list up. Just go ahead and pick. What do you got?
I love that guy's name. I want to go against Wickersham.
Wickersham it is.
It's such a great name.
All right. Oh, that should be fun. Okay, you're going against Wickersham. Let me stop sharing screens. Therefore, you can't see who he's picking.
Okay.
All right, and let's get this thing underway.
Wickersham.
So this week, the fan this week that Andy is going up against. So he's going against the expert of Wickersham. The fan this week is actually Andy's sister-in-law, who is the person that helps run the Facebook page for Side Splitters. Her name is Jess, and she does a wonderful job. She made our logo and all that stuff and helped out with a lot of stuff with the social media pages. So she decided to throw her hat into the ring. This is the wife of Rob, who was on episode 10, and said that the wife is the football fan in the marriage there. So let's see how much of a fan she is when she compares to Andy. It's not going to look good for her, I can tell you now. So, game one, Andy.
Okay.
We have the Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. Who do you got?
Bears and Packers. Well, the problem with the Bears in this matchup is that while the Packers, I don't think have quite the sheer ferocity to be able to stand up to a bear. Bears around this time of year pack themselves. I mean, so having somebody that does it as an actual like living should be able to handle a bear while it's already mid packing itself. So I'm going to say the Packers on that one.
Packers.
Yes.
Gotcha. No idea what was going on there, but you got it.
Bears will be packed.
Next up, excuse me. Next up, we have the London game, the second London game this year. And this is there's not really a home team, but it's considered the New York Giants at the Los Angeles Rams, even though it's in London. Who do you got?
Giants and the Rams, huh?
In London.
In London, jolly old England. Well, the one thing that those fog breathers have is, well, fog. Which I think with it being low to the ground will make Giants have low visibility. And everybody knows that if you're going against a larger opponent, you take them out at the legs. Which Rams are, I mean, they're pretty headlong. They will butt heads with you, no problem. I think with the lack of visibility and with their propensity to charge at the knees or ankles or, God forbid, the shins of the Giants, I think that they're going to topple them over. So I'm going to say the Rams on that one.
I don't like you.
I'm sorry, I call them as I see them.
I'm going to tell you why I don't like you, because that simply means that there's a good chance the Giants are not going to win now.
Superstitious much?
Your freaky voodoo thing that you got going on there. Whatever it is. Anyway, game 3. We have, speaking of voodoo, the New Orleans Saints at the Kansas City Chiefs.
Saints against Chiefs. The Saints have been actually really surprising me. Maybe they actually have turned over a new leaf, because when I think of a Saint from New Orleans, I think of like, he's obviously like one of those like get rich off the money of others television evangelists, but they may have actually, converted, which good for them. Nice to not be flashing people for every bead necklace that you get. Um, but at the same token, like the Chiefs, Chiefs definitely do have a commanding presence. Although the only authority the Saints listen to is the higher authority. They wouldn't listen to the laws of man. I would actually go with the Saints on this one. I think that they will not recognize the authority of the Chiefs and will topple them.
The Saints.
Yes.
My God. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Tennessee Titans. So you got
Colts are pretty quick. Colts have the speed advantage. Titans are, well, they have every other advantage. Um, hmm. No, no, I think actually the Colts are going to be a little too quick for the Titans to grab a hold of. I think that they are going to try to confuse them and round them up, maybe even have them tripping over themselves. Yeah, I'm going to say the Colts on that one.
the Colts. Gotcha. Okay, next up we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, so Vikings generally do like to raid a territory fairly well, although they kind of mess with nature in a bit too while they do it. Because I was going to say the Eagles would probably have the advantage that the Vikings would not really pay attention to them.
Don't Vikings wear eagle? You know what? This is your thing. I'm not interrupting. Sorry.
um, no, because they do have feathers and stuff like that, yeah. But I mean, they don't really go out of their way to destroy animal habitats. They just kind of raid people habitats, and whatever they come across along the way, they kind of use. Um, but at the same token, they would clear an area like scorched earth policy. Um, no, I'm going to say the Vikings on this one. I don't think the Eagles will be left alone for far too long before the Vikings would be like, "Ooh, eagle nest! I shall eat the eggs and gain the strength."
Next up we have the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. Who do you got?
Browns and Bengals.
Editing magic. Editing magic. Editing magic. Editing magic. Editing magic. Edited parts. Why you do this?
Because I call them as I see them. Um, so, hmm, I think both of them are going to be out of their element for the most part. Um, but I think if either one is going to have surprises for the other, any surprise a Bengal would have would probably be more effective than any surprise a Brown would have. So I'm going to go with the Bengals on that one.
You know what? I don't even know what that one means. So if it gets left in, it's because I didn't understand. Next up, we have the Washington Redskins at the Detroit Lions. Who you got?
Ooh, okay. So whereas the Redskins have been doing pretty good against their avian opponents, you know, taking down the Eagles and the Ravens.
There it is. That's what I was looking for. I don't think they took down the Ravens, but okay. They did take down the Eagles though. I wouldn't know about the
take
Ravens.
down the Eagles. Oh no, they took down the Falcons,
No, wasn't the Falcons.
Seahawks.
I don't know who it was. It was definitely the Eagles though. I'll give you that.
Yeah, they had two bird opponents in a row.
You
Um,
got it.
and I gave it to them because they commune with nature. They're pretty commanding of nature in general. But when you're talking about a lion, um, I've seen um, I've seen the movie Ghost in the Darkness. I kind of know how lions feel about any kind of man control or invasion on territory. So I'm going to say actually the lion is not going to give two shits about how communal or spiritual redskins are, and is going to eat them pretty ravagely. Like I mean, they're not custard, but they're going to do probably worse.
So we're taking the Lions here.
Yeah, I'm taking the lions here.
Okay. Good lord, man. Next up, we have the Oakland Raiders at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars are pretty territorial. They don't normally like confrontation, but if backed into a corner, they will pounce. And Raiders don't know when to give up. They'll push into territory no matter what. Question is, do they have the endurance to fend off Jaguars? they are pretty well armed. Yeah, I'd say that even when backed into a corner, where most animals are dangerous, raiders are pretty nasty customers. If it was the Chargers, it'd be another story. I think the Jaguars would have them, but I think the Raiders have enough on Jaguars to be able to take them down. I'm going to say the Raiders.
Raiders. I had no idea where you were going with that one either. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins.
So, as funny as it seems to have a Sharknado replaced with dolphins, it doesn't quite have the same effectiveness to it. I don't really think because I mean, even if the Buffalo Bills were to summon tornadoes with sharks in them. Wait, who's at where?
Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins.
Okay, so the Buffalo Bills are visiting the Dolphins. Yeah, I don't think the tornado voodoo powers of the Buffalo Bills are actually going to be able to do much in the middle of the ocean. And even if they do summon sharks to make it a little more effective, dolphins are actually the natural enemy of sharks. So I think the Dolphins are going to win that one.
Dolphins. We're gonna throw this out there and say that is going to be the team that I'm going to go against on Andy. I like to do this every once in a while. I like to say something about it since I will not go against Andy completely. But I will, in fact, say this time that Andy is wrong. I'm going to go ahead and say the Bills are taking this one. Just a little hunch I have. Anyway. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the New York Jets.
Man, it is always interesting to see which avian opponent ends up going against a jet, because not every bird can pull off a victory against a jet.
Of course.
It appears that I was wrong about the Cardinals. For whatever reason, they did pull it out and choke the engines on the Jets. And I, said that they were a less smart bird than the Seahawks or Falcons. So I would say then that the Raven, being the smartest of all birds, if the dumb birds didn't have a problem, then the smart birds shouldn't either. So whatever method that they use, whether it be choking the engines, out flying, breaking the glass on the canopy and making the pilot eject, the Ravens are going to take down the Jets.
Okay, Ravens, right? That's the team you picked, right?
Yes, Ravens.
Okay, next up, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the San Francisco 49ers.
Buccaneers are visiting the 49ers. Okay, so the problem with that is that Buccaneers are used to wide open spaces, and 49ers have their intricate series of tunnels. And I don't think that the Buccaneers, it's easy to set up ambush points in tunnels. The Buccaneers will not be ready for it. They can probably see if the area is poisonous because they do have birds with them, but it really won't do them any good because most likely they'll be trapped in there anyway, regardless of if the air is breathable. No, I think the 49ers have too much lying in wait for the Buccaneers. I think they're going to win that one.
The 49ers are going to win that one?
Yes, the 49ers are going to win that one.
All right, thank you. You have to understand, Andy, most of the time I just check out when you do this stuff. Just wait for an answer. All right, there it is. I'm back.
Nice, thanks.
Next up, we have to say, look, I don't question it. All right, I realize it's effective. I'm considering putting in a some sort of bet on some sort of online gambling site this week with whatever picks you give me. But this week we have, this week. Next up, we have the San Diego Chargers at the Atlanta Falcons.
Chargers versus Falcons. Well, the Chargers definitely show that they have enough brute strength to take down Broncos, which I thought, honestly, in that matchup, pound for pound, the team with the best horsepower would have been the Broncos.
My God.
But, they came out and surprised me. Falcons may not have the muscle, but they do have really good hit and run tactics, and they do have the aerial advantage, which is always nice. Yeah, I am actually going to give it to the Falcons on this one. I think that the Chargers having to deal with an avian opponent versus a horse is going to be a whole different ballgame.
Falcons.
Yes, Falcons.
Okay. Next up, we have the New England Patriots at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, so about the only American business still left is the steel industry here, and really the steel industry is kind of owes a lot of what it makes on American patriotism. So with the Patriots essentially being the Steelers' bosses, I don't think that they are going to have a hard time beating the Steelers at all. Because if the Steelers win, then they're fired, and then there goes the last American industry. So I think that the Patriots are going to hold that over the Steelers' head for the duration of the game. So I'm going to say the Patriots are going to win.
Yeah, so does the rest of America. Okay. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Arizona Cardinals. Excuse me.
Seahawks at the Cardinals.
Yes.
I don't know. That might be a different. Actually, this one's a tough one.
Oh boy.
No, because like.
And I'm gone.
Because Cardinals, they've shown that they can actually take down, Jets, which is pretty interesting. Seahawks, I think, have also done the same, if I'm not mistaken. So both of them can clearly match mechanical enemies. They're pretty crafty enough to be able to do that. Seahawks visiting Cardinals. Cardinals are not necessarily territorial animals. In fact, they leave every winter. And the Seahawks are used to dealing with, stuff by the ocean. Cardinals are not really known to be in that area. This is a tough call. I would say that Cardinals have a better sense of community than Seahawks do. Being the loners. It's not as solid a pick, but I'm going to have to go with the Cardinals on this one.
Cardinals, you got it.
I think their magical friendship power will get them through the Seahawks.
I still think, I want to say this before I go through the last one. I still think one of the best things Andy has ever said on this was, wait, Cardinals, is that like the bird or the bishop? Never considered that. Anyway, last game, we have the Houston Texans at the Denver Broncos.
Texans and Broncos. Well, Texans naturally, as I thought they would. The Colts didn't have a chance against the Texans. The Texans. Mishima.
My God.
References.
Yeah.
So, the Texans are the natural enemy of the Colts, and along the same lines is Texans and Broncos are always butting heads. Sometimes the Bronco will not be tamed. Sometimes they have to go under the swift cowboy boot of justice from the Texan. So this is a 50-50 shot for me. Either team could have this, but considering that the Broncos kind of faced the loss from the Chargers, brute force may have actually winded them a bit, so they might be easier.
A decision, please.
Sorry. I'm going to go with the Texans on that one.
Texans. That is exactly the answer I wanted to hear because, God, just something told me you were going to go with that, and I'm happy you did. Okay, so to go over Jess's picks real quick, now that you're done, Jess has the Packers, Giants, Saints, Titans, Vikings, Bengals, Redskins, Raiders, Dolphins, Ravens, 49ers, Falcons, Patriots, Seahawks, Broncos. And he's going against Wickersham. If you want to see his picks, go to ESPN.com and look for him.
Wickersham.
Yes. And that is week 7 picks. Very nice. Okay, so I discussed this with Andy a bit, and we've decided we're going to do a bit of a game this week. It's not quite clickbait news like we typically do, but it's almost a test of clickbait news. How well does Andy know his Florida man?
Not well enough, I would think, but I'm going to try it anyway.
What I seen earlier in the week, it was an episode of Jeopardy, and no one...
Nerds!
Yeah, whatever. Just so people know, I tend to record the pre-show that we do. We kind of warm up a little bit, call each other, talk for a bit, and I will record that from time to time. In the recording this week, Andy was telling us the riveting tale of how he once almost created not one, but 2 trading card games. I'm the nerd. So...
that just means I'm super creative.
Of course it does. The category was Florida Man, and it was on Jeopardy, and basically was uh just answers because it's Jeopardy. Answers about tales from Florida that you had to provide the questions for. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Andy these very questions, answers, whatever Jeopardy thinks, and we're going to see how he fares against them. How he does.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So for the first one, which I think it was in double Jeopardy, so we got 200. For 200, Florida man tells police he's so drunk he'll blow up this measuring device.
What is a breathalyzer?
Very good. Breathalyzer. Yes.
Ah.
Florida man, 400. Florida man slashes 88-year-old woman's tire with ice pick for sitting in his seat during this 5-letter game.
For this 5-letter
Game.
his seat for this 5-letter game. Wow, all I know is like 6-letter ones. Um, huh. Shit. That's 4 letters.
5 seconds, Andy.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Ooh, bingo.
Bingo!
Giving up his seat. She took a seat.
Ah.
Bingo. Trying to do my best, Alex Trebek. I'm sorry.
I will take Florida man for 600, Alex.
Oh, Sean Connery showed up to play. All right.
Well, I got done raping your mother last night. I'm free for a game, you rogue.
600.
600, yes.
On this wrestler and his lawsuit against Gawker, Florida man shows up to court in formal bandana.
Oh, who is Hulk Hogan?
That is correct. Hulk Hogan. Okay. All right. So for 800, Florida man ordered to stay away from animals after throwing live this state reptile through Wendy's drive-through window.
What is an alligator?
Yes, the man threw an alligator through a Wendy's. I would have loved to just recorded Trebek's commentary on these.
Yeah, seriously, like that. I'm actually curious how much of that he could say with a straight face or without an eyebrow being raised.
Yeah, seriously.
By the way, I was being serious. What is an alligator? I've never seen one in person.
Florida man for 1,000. Florida man steals this ultimate driving machine after he's told he can't buy it with food stamps.
What is a monster truck?
Oh, what is a BMW? BMW, ultimate driving machine.
No, I'm the one asking the bloody questions. What is a monster truck?
So let's see. If we were to determine how much money Mr. Connery just made, he got 200 right. Or he got 200 right. He got 400 wrong, and then he got 600, and then 800, and then 1,000 wrong. So he made 1,600 and lost 14. You made a grand total of $200. Congratulations.
Oh, just enough for another night with your mother.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I can show her what my alligator looks like after I throw it through her window. Or maybe I'll just fit it in between her shimp.
just to bring people up to speed here. Mr. Sean Connery said, through her simp, SIMP. Um, if you don't know what that is, I want you to Google search. Let me see if this actually works.
Be forewarned though, it is not safe for work.
No, it is not safe for work. Not safe for work. Man,
Shh.
I don't know if
Shh.
it would work.
Why can't I make a bloody ass shout? Shh.
Okay, look up the if you if you don't know what a simp is, again, very much not safe for work. Reddit.com/r/simps, SIMPS. Have fun. You have to read the info as to why they're called that. Anyway, I have a coworker quote of the week that I wanted to bring to your attention.
Oh, good. I have one too, and I'm not going to give explanation behind it either. I'm just going to put the quote out there.
You know what? I'm going to do the same thing. Since you're doing that, this is going to be fun. The coworker quote of the week this week is, "They just let the baby punch the cake for like 10 minutes."
All right. I will see that, and I will raise you. I'm happy that my tap dancing spider could bring you so much joy.
All right. You know what? I'll see that, and I'll raise you. On mushrooms, I don't care if you don't like them. They're objectively delicious.
Objectively delicious.
Objectively delicious. Because they're supposed to enhance the flavor of things. Therefore, they are objectively delicious.
Wow. Can't argue with that. Wouldn't know how.
Oh, you'd like that one.
Nice.
Or I could even take it one step further. This one wasn't so much of a winner, but it was certainly a runner-up to the runner-up. You got a stoop ass. Your ass is made for stoops.
A stoop ass.
What? And then, of course, I'm gonna just barrel through all of them I got here because I write them all down every time I hear a good one. I'm just like, oh, that's a contender. And here was personally my favorite. Someone said to me, you know, when future people come to work here, they might complain about you talking about comics and video games and insulting them all day, but I will tell them, hey, at least he be knowing his shit. It just made me.
Wow, that's a motivational speech right there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there you go. There's all the coworker quotes of the week I have for this previous week. So now we get to everyone's favorite segment. We have to name this monstrosity.
Oh God.
Yeah, let's make some noises so it makes it seem like we're coming up with this name really quick. And Lyle didn't edit any of this out.
Yeah, no, not at all. We did talk a lot about Halloween costumes.
May I make a simple suggestion?
Of course. Of course you may.
That's it. That was a suggestion.
Yeah. If we went along those lines, I would say right in the simp.
It's too direct.
Too direct. Tramp or treat.
A trick or simp.
I would say even playing off the Jeopardy thing, like what is simp? It'd be like, oh yeah, what is simp? Now, as fun a word as simp is, that's a very minor part here.
Yeah. We did the Halloween costumes too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sweet candy, but with an I.
How about brown and yellow and edit it all over?
What is brown and yellow and censored all over?
Yeah.
Bird or the bishop?
Mischievous simps?
Connery candy?
Egg bombers? Chicken simps?
We are reaching.
Yeah, we are. God, can you tell me a joke real quick so we have more material to go off of?
Not safe for Jeopardy?
Stoop ass? Stoop simp?
It doesn't even roll off the tongue too well.
No.
Well, we could name it editing magic.
How about scream for your cream?
Scream for your cream?
Yeah, because the mischievous guys in the scream masks.
Right.
Cream being candy.
Gotcha.
Or simps. Scream for your Simps. How about we're not naming this episode Simps?
We're not naming this episode Simp. I actually kind of like that.
It's kind of long. Can we make it shorter?
Definitely not Simps.
Not titled Simps?
Yeah, yeah, not titled Simps. Because, I mean, we kept hovering around that word, but, like, for the life of me, I couldn't come up with anything better.
Nothing. And it's going to be great because when I go to edit this, all you're going to hear is Simps, 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 Simps. How about not titled Simps?
Yeah,
That's
you do have your work cut out for you there. But yeah, no, just a repetition of that word and just being like, well, I know I don't want to call it that, so we'll just call it not titled Simps and call it a day. Because no matter what I try to do with that word or try to get away from that word keeps coming back to mind. And it doesn't help that I have all the images that I saw associated with it flare to life right before my eyes.
God, I hope no one. The hope is that like no one looks it up. They're just gonna become like a funny thing, and we can then insult people with it. Like, oh, you stupid simp. Something along those lines. It'll just be our new inside hidden joke, inside insult joke. It'll be fun. Anyway, so that is this week's episode, titled not titled.
Not titled Simps.
Yeah, not titled Sims. That'll do it for this week's edition of the Side Splitters. My name is Lyle.
And I am unfortunately Andy.
Have a good week, everyone.